don't cry.
We're going to install transmission bands. We're going to use Kevlar material. In this case, there's wood bands, Scandinavian bands, and you can still get a cotton band. We've had real good success with Kevlar bands, so we can continue to use them. There are a couple of different suppliers of Kevlar bands. This particular manufacturer, in the instructions indicate that we want to install the band where it's flush. The lining material is flush with the steel band. One of the other material suppliers, you read the instructions and I believe it says 3/16 to 1/4 inch extended beyond the band. Probably has to do with different lengths, how they cut it. We're going to follow the instructions on this one and put it flush with it. We want to make sure we've cleaned up our band, and we want to make sure that our band is round. There's no bends in them. They bend pretty easy. If you've ever taken one in and out of a hogshead and had a little bit of trouble getting it in and out, you can find that you can bend it real easy. This is just a brake drum. Happens to be all pretty and powder coated. But anyhow, you can take that band with the ear on it and just kind of clamp it around, and you can see where you might have a little bit of a high spot where it's not making contact. It's all doing pretty good. They bend real easy. They can bend by hand. And you can just kind of come in here and work around on it a little bit and get it to where it fits the drum nice. And once you're happy with the fit of it, you can start installing the band. Another thing you want to make sure is that the bands aren't twisted and warped. And I'm looking down this one, and we're happy with this, so we'll go ahead and install the lining on it. And you start on the ends. Doesn't make any difference. These are narrow bands. Doesn't make any difference whether it's a 26-27 that has a wide brake drum band in it. That's the only difference. The other two bands are the same. And I find a little clothespin just kind of keeps things together for me. This one person can do this, but well, sometimes you need an extra set of hands. I find that if I take an awl and come in here, make sure that I got my band square with it, and I'm just going to poke a couple of holes down through the band to let the tines of that rivet start down in there. That way there they tend to go straight through. And we got our little split rivets. It's just a small split rivet. Two different schools of thoughts here. Some people like to split this tine to where it's across the band. Other people like to put it where it's in line with each other. Your choice which way to go. I happen to like it to go across the band. And I'll just start that. And I've got a block of wood that I've just put a little bit of a radius on it. And get that started. And give it a poke through, and what should have happened is our rivet now is just exposed straight through. If you have a little transmission rivet installing tool, it makes this job a little easier. You can buy these from the vendors. Is it necessary to have? No. You could take a blunt chisel and back that up and kind of split that tine over, get it bending, and then take a small socket or just anything that was round You can come in there and get them to lay over and then finish peening it with a ball peen hammer. We're going to go ahead and use this tool. And so the tool is relieved to be able to split and curl that over. Just get that held up in place and get the rivet started over. It's still higher than our band material, so you can just back it up and take a ball peen hammer, just come in there and finish it. So what we've got is our rivets installed on one end, and it's not sticking above the band material. And we'll go to the other side that has the ear, and here's where it gets, now we got this great big wad of stuff that we got to do something with. And again, this is where I find that if I have a clothespin, it kind of helps me do this. I'm going to put it flush to our metal band. Put a couple more starter spots in it with our rivet. If my fingers are working pretty good today, I can do this without getting a pair of needle nose. But sometimes a needle nose helps. Get that started down in. Make sure my band is where I want it to be. And I'll just put a punch on this rivet now and drive it into the wood. This could be an old axe handle or an old implement, you know, a shovel handle or whatever. Needs to have a little bit of a round edge because you want to get those tines stuck on through there. Now is where it gets a little tricky. I'd usually have a hole drilled in it, but I'm going to take a small socket and back up that rivet because our ear is in the way. And be prepared for parts to just go flying here. Okay, so we used our tool and we got that to spread out. I'll just take my socket and put it on there, and I want to finish peening that rivet down. I've got my band material centered on the steel band, and now we got this big old wad of stuff that we need to work in. I find that if you'll just kind of lift up and kind of keep working it, eventually you'll just get it all to lay in there. That looks pretty good. So it's a matter of installing the rest of the rivets around. Same process, just over and over until you get it done. And it doesn't make any difference whether you alternate or you just go around. Just whatever method you like. Actually, it isn't as bad as what it looks. Okay, so installing one of the rivets, apparently hit a soft spot in my wood, and my rivet didn't really come through, and it's they're kind of bent over. So I'm going to go ahead and replace that. Hold softly. See if I can. Yeah, I'm going to get that rivet out, and oh, you can kind of see, really kind of butchered that one up. Okay, it just didn't go in. When you're driving these rivets in, you want to give them just a good smack. Pecking at them softly tends to bend them, so just give them a good smack and drive them down into the wood. And we're down to our last foot.